Oh, hello, beautiful. Aren't you gorgeous? It's a 27-foot Jayco Swift 267 BHS, which is perfect because Mr. California was just unloading it and we were in the market. Been wanting to stretch our camping legs for a bit now, and we did do a tent camp last year, but with little man and us getting older, things just weren't working out the way we planned. So we've come to the conclusion that now we all need real beds to sleep on, we need a real door to shut, and we definitely need AC.
No pleasure, no rapture, no exquisite sin greater than central air.
And I mean, check out this layout. How perfect for a family with a little person, because that bunk is totally away from the rest of the main area. So going in and out after he goes down is not going to be an issue. And there's a little bit of privacy, but I mean, let's get real, we're camping. There's not really a lot of privacy anyway, so it's cool. We're going to be able to. And the best part of this one is that she's totally functional. Every working component is functioning, so we don't have to do a whole lot to make her workable. She's pretty much ready to go. So now I'm sure you're thinking, like, what the hell? Like, look at this. It looks beautiful. This was supposed to be a trailer redo. What the hell am I even watching? Well, these are stock photos. Don't let it fool you. My girl had been sitting for a little bit, and her previous owners were single men, so if you can put two and two together, that's what I'm working with. I knew I was basically going to have to rip her apart and clean out everything top to bottom anyway, so I figure if I'm going to go through all the work and clean everything out and take all the doors off and wipe everything down, why don't I take the time to really make it a place for us? So in my mind, now's as good a time as any to make any aesthetic changes or alterations to the place before we actually get our first camp in. And where does every basic white woman in her mid-30s go for inspiration? You guessed it. In my downward spiral of the void known as Pinterest, I did find a lot of good things that I'm going to put to use, and just little tips and tricks, different materials that people use in their trailers that seem to be working pretty well for them. And a lot of these things are just like 50-50 shots. So I've got a pretty good chance of making this work out. I think that I'm going to be able to do it. I'm not super handsy, but I'm crafty, you know what I mean? I can do this. And the more that I look at Pinterest, I've got this false sense of security that I can totally do this. I will take this on head first. First things first that needs to be done is taking all the crap out of the trailer, which means emptying out all the cabinets, all the little hidey holes and stuff, and then taking down these stupid blinds. I don't know who is benefiting from these blinds, but the valences are ugly as hell, and the blinds basically serve no purpose. Thanks for filtering my light blinds. I went ahead and I took down all the light fixtures. I took down the vent shields, anything that I'm going to want to paint behind. I'm not 100% that I'm going to get rid of these light fixtures. So with everything off the ceiling, the next move is to take off all the hardware and all the doors and wipe everything down with a combination of crud cutter and water to take off that layer of dust or whatever moisture buildup, gross, who knows. So far so good. It's looking good. I'm feeling good. The only holes that I'm gonna fill in are the ones around the windows, because I said I am going to replace those blinds, and I'm gonna put in new sunblocker, UV blocker blinds. So now with all the surfaces clean, I'm gonna go ahead and use this liquid sandpaper that was a 50-50 shot that I read about on the internet. Some people sanded down the walls and all the surfaces that they were going to paint so that there was a little bit of grit for the paint to adhere to, and then some people use this liquid sandpaper. I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. And so I let that sit for 24 hours, and then I'm going to start with my painting from top to bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 layers of Valspar ceiling paint on the ceiling, going around everything that I need to, and not being too aware of the walls and anything that I'm going to be covering back up, because whatever, it's just a ceiling. I just wanted it to be a fresh start so I can cover anything else up that I need to as I'm working my way down, it seems like. And I truly am super glad that I started with the ceiling, because painting over your head is a goddamn bitch. It sucks. But after 2 coats, look at that, it looks pretty fresh. Looks good. Now that the ceiling's dry, I'm going to go ahead and reattach everything that I took off of the ceiling, especially these light fixtures, which was kind of a beast to put back in because you can't see the hole where I took them out. but you know, I get it. I didn't put back in the vent shields or anything like that because I am going to spray them separately. So next, I'm going to go through and I'm going to prime literally everything except for the floors. I'm going to use this Zinsser Bullseye Primer with a 1/2 nap roller, and I'm just going to roll everything. All the cabinets, all the walls, even the outer portion of the bunk. I'm going to roll all the kitchen cabinets, literally everything. And I thought this was going to take not nearly as much time as it took, but I'm pretty stoked. This is one coat. I'm going to probably leave it at one coat, but I did only get 1/2 the trailer done this week, so here's fingers crossed to next week.